Hello and welcome to today's English grammar lesson. So in today's lesson, we will be focusing on phrasal verbs. So the first phrasal verb is break down. Break down. What does that mean? You need to use it to talk about something that stops functioning or stop working properly. Now let's look at some examples to know more about how to use breakdown in sentences. Example number 1. The car broke down on the highway, so we had to call for help. What does that mean? We are using broke down to say that the car stopped working on the highway. So this is one way of using the phrasal verb. And why are we saying broke down but not break? Because this is related to something happened and finished. So we need to use the past tense for that. Another example, the washing machine broke down last night and now there is water all over the laundry room floor. So in this case we used broke down. Why? Because of last night. Something happened last night, so it is in the past tense. Broke down. Another phrasal verb, break in or break in. What does that mean? When someone enters a building or a place forcibly and illegally. So in this case we use break in. Now let's look at some examples to know more about the meaning of this phrasal verb. Let's have a look at this example. Someone tried to break in last week, but luckily the alarm scared them away. So what does that mean? It means that someone tried to get in illegally, but did they manage? No. Why? Because of the alarm. So in this case we can use break in. Another example, last month there was a break-in at the toy shop. Someone tried to get inside when it was closed. So by looking at the example, we can clearly understand the meaning of break-in, which means someone tried to do something illegally. Another phrasal verb, break up. What does that mean? You need to use it to talk about the ending of a relationship or a gathering. Now let's look at some examples. They decided to break up after dating for 3 years. So in this case, they decided to end the relationship. Another one, Sarah and Tom decided to break up because they realized they wanted different things in life. So this is also really about the use of break up in ending relationships. Now let's move into another phrasal verb. Break out. What does that mean? You need to use it to talk about something that starts suddenly. It can be like a game, like a fire, a fight, things like that. So let's look at some examples to know more about the meaning of breakout. Example, at recess, a fun game of tag broke out among the students. What does that mean? The students started suddenly playing the game and they really enjoyed it. So in this case, we can use breakout or broke out if we are talking about something that happened in the past. Another example, during the party, a dance-off broke out and everyone joined in with their funny moves. So what does that mean? It means that everyone started enjoying the kind of funny moves, so they started doing funny stuff. Why? Because they really enjoyed it, and that's why we are using broke out. Another phrasal verb, breakthrough. What does that mean? You need to use it to talk about passing through a barrier or an obstacle. So let's look at some examples. Example, after hours of brainstorming, I finally managed to break through the difficult math problem and solve it. What does that mean? It means I finally managed to solve the math problem after spending hours and hours of brainstorming. So in this case, we can use breakthrough. Now let's look at another example. The sun finally broke through the clouds after days of rain, making everyone happy to see the blue sky again. So this is another example of breakthrough to show you how you can use it in sentences. Now let's look at another phrasal verb. Break off. Break off. What does that mean? When you end something suddenly, you use break off. Now let's look at some examples. Example: the argument between the siblings broke off when they realized it wasn't worth fighting over. So in this case, the siblings decided to end the argument, and so we can use broke off. And by the way, siblings means brothers and sisters. So in case you don't know the meaning of the word. Now let's look at another example to know more about this phrasal verb. Another example: the concert had to break off due to a sudden power outage disappointing the audience. So in this case, they had to end the concert. So that is why we are using break off to talk about something that has to be ended suddenly without any plans. Let's have a look at another phrasal verb, which is break away. Break away, you need to use it to talk about leaving or escaping from a situation or group. Now let's look at some examples to know more about the use of break away. Example: sometimes it's good to take a break and break away from work to relax and recharge. So in this case, you are leaving work just for a short time, and it's not just about work, it can be about studying as well. So when you need to take a break, you can say, I am breaking away for maybe 5 minutes, 10, like it depends. But just for a short time, and then you come back to continue studying or working. Another example: the bird tried to break away from its cage, fluttering its wings to find freedom. So this is another way of using break away. Now let's look at the phrasal verbs that we have just learned. Number 1, break down, to stop working properly. Break in, to enter a place illegally. Break up, to end a relationship or a gathering. Break out, to escape or start suddenly. Break through, to pass through a barrier or an obstacle. Break off, to end something suddenly. And break away, to leave or escape from a situation or group. So I really hope you find these phrasal verbs useful, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Also, if you want me to talk about something else, like, because I'm actually thinking about like doing some podcast, like maybe talking about things related to the language in terms of how to speak confidently, or about writing, or anything related to like language improvement, just let me know in the comments. All right, and at the same time, if you want me to talk more about phrasal verbs, or maybe like sharing some expressions, how to use them in sentences, or about anything, just let me know in the comments. So in this case, I wish you then a happy day, and I really hope you enjoyed today's English grammar topic, and I wish you a happy day. I'll see you then the next time. So goodbye and take care.